Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Chesapeake Chats on the Hallmarkies podcast. The gang is all here today, Kari and Kaycee and Ann, and we're recapping two more episodes, episode 6 and episode 7. We are plugging away at this season, you guys. I mean, not only does it feel like it's going fast, but we had some funny time hops in these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did.
I did not catch that until I read an article.
Oh, really?
And even though you guys told me, I still missed it. I don't know what I was doing. I was like, be prepared. You're going to see it. You're going to see 6 months. And I'm like, wait a second. I never saw it. I guess I looked down right at the exact wrong time.
It was quick. It was quick.
It must have been pretty quick. Yeah.
I just happened to be like just tuned in. I turned it on and I was like, oh my gosh, 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
6 months later. Because the first episode from 5 to 6 is about a week. Bree says a week and some change, you know.
Oh yeah.
And then you go from 6 to 7 and it's 6 months later.
Wow.
But what did the article say, Kaycee? Why did they choose to do that? Do you remember?
Oh, let's see here. I actually have it up. This is from TV Insider, and it says, as executive producer, Fief Sutton told TV Insider, a lot of stuff that maybe would have taken 2 or 3 seasons to do, we kind of had to move forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's why they know it's the end and they have to, you know, to celebrate a baby. And, you know, you have to kind of go through that pregnancy pretty fast. Well, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what threw me, because I was like, 6 months, was that a typo? Didn't they mean like 6 weeks? And I think it's because when they were at the ultrasound, it was all about like the baby, like, okay, don't look, baby gender, and usually that's at 20 weeks. So that's halfway through. That's usually when you can find out, unless you do one of those blood sample test things, then you can find out like 14, 15, 16 weeks. Yeah. And usually it's the 20-week appointment. I'm like, that's not 6 months. That's like month 5. But
that's true. They kind of implied that they were wanting to wait. And so it felt like it could have been a new technician saying like, do you guys want to know? And they're like, no, we want to wait. Like they have to say that every time. I don't know. Yeah. It didn't bother me too much. But
yeah. Well, it just threw me with the time hop, because I didn't realize there was a time hop. And then I watched and then I saw the time hop. And then I was justifying the ultrasound in my mind. Yeah. No, but I mean, like for me, I only had my ultrasound at like the anatomy, like 8 weeks, I think, you know, literally like the second appointment. And then I had another one at 20 weeks. And that was it. Like I didn't do any other ultrasounds, but like I have friends that do them frequently. Because they like to do like the 3D thing, and they like to, so they'll do them all the way up. Or if there's been complications with mom or baby, then they do them a lot more frequently. So I guess I was like leaning from my own experience when I was like, wait, what? 6 months?
That's not it. But it kind of feels like a Kevin and Sarah thing, to any chance they got to see if that baby was growing well and healthily, you know. Anyway, okay, let's jump into episode 6. Now, last time we were here on Chesapeake Chats, we did have a pretty serious conversation about just Mick and his addiction, and you know, there's just some heavy things we needed to talk about, and you know, they're really dealing with this well, I think, still. And even here in episode 6, which was called Straighten Up and Fly Right, I mean, Mick, let's talk about Mick. Let's just get this going right away. He is thinking he can just do this all on his own. He does not need a sponsor. He's really dragging his feet there. He asks Luke to be his sponsor, and Luke's like, that's not how it works. Like, you can tell Luke wants to follow the rules here.
Well, that would just be, I mean, it's against the rules for one thing, but also it's like, I literally work for you and I'm dating your daughter. Like there's just so much things that could be wrong with this. Not to mention that it's not supposed to be your friend, or like, you know, like, just no, that'd be a horrible idea. You could fire me. You could be like, you can't date this person because you're mad at them after, you know, whatever advice or support they tried to give you. So that would just be total conflict of interest. But yeah, it can't be your friend or your or your like your coworker or like your subordinate or whatever, because it has to be someone who can just tell you how it is. And be unbiased. And so Luke, yeah, good job. Just immediately just nip it. Yep, nope, sorry. Find somebody else.
I feel like Luke is just so wise. You know, he's walked that road before, and he wants to be there for Mick, but there's boundaries, there's limits. He can't be everything to him. But it was so interesting to me to see him go from a conversation with Abby. She was trying to check up on him. Are you doing okay? You know, he was disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, disappointed that his plans fell through to meet Megan in Denver. And then she's like trying to like not say something, but not say something. And finally she comes out and is like, you know, are you going to be okay? Like, are you tempted to maybe pop another pill or something? And he gets super defensive, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes right to Luke. So, I mean, he needs a sponsor.
Yeah. Needs support, someone to talk to and reach out to.
Yeah. It's like he had his feet in both doors, you know, like one foot in, one foot out, and trying to like, you know, get away from the addiction and get away from it, but then it's drawing you back. And it's hard. It's hard for somebody, especially like somebody like Mick O'Brien, you know?
The
patriarch,
proud man. And just I wrote in my notes, I was taking notes during the episode, I wrote like, this man is gunning for a relapse, like this is gonna happen, a relapse. Sure enough.
I was shocked.
Were
like,
you?
I mean, I was like, okay, like they're obviously trying to show that he thinks he can do it on his own, and addiction that's not possible to do it on your own. It's not safe, that's not advised, that's just not how it works. You need support. And so I'm like, they're obviously trying to show that, but I'm like, oh, you know, this is Hallmark, like there's no way like he actually took that pill like in his son's bathroom. I'm like, there's no way. And then I was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, he did. Like I was just like, I thought maybe they're gonna show and he was like about to do it and then he wouldn't, but I mean, which they didn't show us, they just, you know, let it be like a reveal at that moment. But I was pretty surprised, but I was glad. That sounds bad to say I was glad, but I was surprised. But I was like, you know, this is a lot more realistic that someone would have, you know, that they would know their son has been in surgery. They would check the cabinet and they would be tempted, and that temptation would overcome them, and they would follow through with taking it. It made sense, you know, that it was definitely a thing that could happen to somebody. But I don't know. Some part of me was just so surprised at the same time.
I too was the same way, you know, because it's Hallmark, so you tend to go, your brain tends to go happy ending instead of realistic.
Exactly.
But you know, I'm glad they took that chance, you know, because it is realistic storytelling. So for the storytelling, yes, we are glad, but for the character, we are disappointed.
I know. I was so, when they jumped to him at the NA meeting, I thought, oh, okay, this is interesting. You know, he was kind of like standing up, and it seemed like he was saying, wow, I was tempted. I really wanted it. You know, when will that wanting stop? You know, oh man, this was hard. And sure enough, Ralph, I think his name is Ralph. Ralph catches the omission, you know, like, you didn't finish your story. What did you actually do with it when you found it? He called him out on it. You took it, didn't you? You know, he could see the signs. And I mean, he really, really proved himself as someone who is a good friend in that situation, but more than that, a good sponsor. Like he would be a good sponsor. Catches him on those lies, and or lie of omission is what it was. He didn't say one way or the other if he took it or not until he was confronted. Oh, but the relief Mick seemed to feel when he finally committed to a sponsor, you know, then he was like wanting to go through these steps. He wanted to like talk all about it at Sally's.
Like step 4, it's like, no, we gotta start step 1 through 3. Like, let's, you know, start.
Right, let's
ease into it.
That's why there's steps, because they have to go in order. You know, like this is important to do this the right way. Slowly, take our time. No rush. It's not the way it works.
Oh, Mick, he's doing such a great job. Treat Williams just handling this
Gosh, yeah, he's
storyline. And still being very much himself at home, the father figure that he is, you know, but also now having this pain, this struggle. He's doing a great job.
He's Johnny.
And he's Darren.
Do you like movies?
Do you like your childhood?
Do you like movies from your childhood?
Do you like podcasts about movies from your childhood?
If you answered yes to one or all those questions, then you might enjoy NostalgiaCast. It's a podcast about movies from your childhood.
So if you're nostalgic for nostalgia, then you might like NostalgiaCast. See, that's the name of our podcast, NostalgiaCast.
Yeah, I think they got that.
Should we sign off?
Let's do it. I'm Johnny.
And he's Darren. And this is
NostalgiaCast. I win.
Well, speaking of another father figure, let's jump over and talk about Mr. Peck. We have Mr. Peck who joins us this season. What did you think? How did they handle this? And Kaycee, did you like it?
About dang time. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys know I am a Hallmark mystery junkie.
Yes.
Love the mysteries. Here for the mysteries. P.S. If you didn't know, Fief did Darrow and Darrow, one of my favorites.
Oh, that's right. You had. I remember you told me that. I think. Oh
It's a
my
good
gosh.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
Makes sense.
It's a good one because it's a law mystery. And I was drawn to law. I almost went to do law school and stuff and then realized it's too much school and blah, blah, blah. But so I have like an affinity to that. And so this storyline, I have been waiting. I've been waiting for David Peck to show back up. Wait, David Peck? No, Mr.
it's
Peck. Sorry. Mr. Sir
Mr.
Peck.
Peck. I don't remember. What
Yeah,
he
I don't remember his name.
What's
I
his
don't.
name? Does he have a first name? Mr. David Peck's father. Been
Yeah.
waiting for him to show up. And I mean Carla Marks too, because like he's been kind of in and out this season. But
Yeah.
I was digging it. I like the whole thing where he was away in a different country. He just drops a call on David and okay, you guys. Carlo.
He's
That
intense.
man can act. And if he does not get nominated for any of those Canadian Emmy things, whatever they're called up there,
oh gosh. Yeah.
the
I know. What is it? I know exactly what it is too, and I can't think of it.
the Canadian Emmys.
Yeah.
No, like he needs a nomination. I mean,
He
the
does.
way he holds the emotions of his character and the way he like it's so pent up and then it's like this immediate release and then you see the conflict in him with this father, like he's my dad but he did all these horrible things when I was young and then he's at this and it's like
Do you think? I mean, I saw in his face like an anger that I've never seen on David Peck's face before. And it's almost scary. Like the depth of his feeling in his face, like how immediately mad he was at his dad when he heard his voice. And he was so mad. He was so angry.
yeah. And David has always been more of a passive personality.
Yeah.
And not that that's not a bad thing. That's just more of a he's so level.
Yes.
He's always been level-headed ever since he walked into Chesapeake Shores and
which Jess is kind of, so it's good that he's kind of, because she's kind of, so that helps them kind of balance each other.
It does.
I think it does. Because I don't think it's necessarily passive as much as, like you said, it's steady to her up and down, and he's always been steady. So not necessarily passive, but
that's true. I guess I was thinking more in line of like his family. Like he was never confrontational with them. He's always been a little more like, all right, that easy
go with the flow.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Not a negative passive, like I'm gonna be walked all over, but it's more of a, I don't have time for this negative energy. I'm gonna take it and let it go.
Yeah.
So seeing this in David is, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is. War. he's at war in his heart, because he kept saying, but he's still my dad, and then he's like, but I have to call the FBI agent, he's just, the right and wrong of it all is so gray right now for him. He just can't figure it out. And ultimately he does not call her, or he does call her. I didn't know if she just showed up. Was that clear to you guys?
The FBI agent?
Yeah.
I think he called her.
Okay.
Because David is also going to do the right thing.
Okay.
And I remember there was some kind of conversation. I think it was that he had with his dad, or that he had with Jess, or somebody, indicating that he felt like he was gonna have to call the FBI now, because they're gonna find out one way or the other.
Yeah, I have to call her. But then she shows up. So I'm like, okay, so does that mean he called her, or does she just did she already bug his phone or something? But then she goes on and bugs his phone. So no. She's like, do you have something to tell me? That was kind of freaky.
Yeah, that was
a little freaky.
I was like, this she's kind of interesting. I don't know, something about her. I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
I said before how much Jess is just kind of growing up, taking on more responsibility within their marriage. He's so distracted. So she's trying to, further their little homestead there and buy a property for a winery. And she's keeping up with the family. She's doing the bulk work at the inn. I'm just still so impressed with her.
Yeah,
I am too. I really am. And gosh, yeah, it just shows so much growth on her part, on her character's part. And it just shows how a lot of times when you're in marriage, it's just usually both people aren't okay at the same time. A lot of times it's one person's kind of, and then the other person, and it kind of, and then, and she's like, okay, he's having crazy stuff happen. I gotta, step up my game and support him. He's always been there for me. And I'm stepping up. I'm going to be a supportive wife.
Yeah. And I think sometimes in a marriage, it's almost a relief to see the one who's so steady kind of get a little crazy. Yeah. A relief. Oh, we can be partners here. We can be, I can support you like you always support me.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. I think it kind of shows our humanity so much, and how we always need support at different times, different things arise, we need each other.
For sure.
So his phone is bugged. He allows them to bug it, and then dad calls again.
That's right.
Yeah, and dad knows. That's not dumb. Dad knows that there's a good chance that they're gonna be at his doorstep.
Yeah.
Soon. Yeah.
So that means he knew that David was gonna do the right thing.
Yeah.
Tell them that he got a call. Well, Mr. Peck, he's really trying to make his case that he is innocent, and got a little ways to go here.
Oh, yes. More to talk when we talk the next episode.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so let's move on. Connor and Margaret have just a sweet little storyline that progresses their relationship. Margaret passes the bar.
Woo!
Yeah, with that weird wording that the computer said. I was like, okay, yeah, you have to be smart to figure this out, because you're so anxious, and then that wording's can you just be clear? Fail, that's it.
Yes, just say red, fail, green, pass.
Yes.
Yeah,
very simple things.
I wonder if that's true, if that wording is how they actually do it.
I don't know.
I can ask my friend.
Okay, ask your friend.
Yes.
Because it was Margaret Keller's name is not on the failed list or something like that.
Yeah. She was like, why is this a double negative? Why are they saying it like this?
I don't know.
To mess with people's heads.
I know. Just to give you a few more moments of anxiety that's skyrocketing through your body.
I know they handled it well, and he was so happy for her, and he was so excited for her, and really wanted her to consider some of these job offers that she was already getting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I get it. I get it for Connor. I mean, she's amazing. Margaret deserves everything in the world, you know, and you have to.
Yeah.
And it is almost a little selfish for you, you know, because like you're like, I have to make you do it, even if that person thinks they have to, but it's almost that feeling of like, but what if, like, I don't want to be the one to stand in your way.
Right. And at that point he had to stay. Even if he was healthy, that was what he chose, to have a small town practice at Chesapeake Shores. And now he's not even really healthy, you know? And so now he really does have to slow down, really has to stay. And he's like, you could go and be a part of a big firm, and you should try it, see what their offer is. And each time she's just insistent, you know, that she wanted to be there.
She was insistent, but I will say bitterness and resentment is so real. Connor is right to just put it in her hands, in her court, and just kind of be like, you got to go and at least see what they want you to do, because it has to be, you know, this is your offer, like this is your choice. And I don't want you to, you know, resent me, you know, because, you know, you felt like you had to take care of me, or you know, that I wanted you to stay here, or I made you stay here, or you know. So that was good.
That was so good. And, you know, she made a good point at the end when she told him that was her decision. Her decision is to stay in Chesapeake Shores with him, because she said, I already had that big corporate job at DLP, and you know how that ended up. And she had already left that and wanted to come and join him already. So just a couple ways that she's just proving herself, hopefully in a really good way, that he can start to believe, and they can start to, you know.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh. I just love them. I'm like, please, I just wish they would be in like a spin-off series or something. They're just so adorable. I know. I love it.
I know. I'm with you. We can take the best of both worlds. Chesapeake Shores mysteries. Connor and Margaret.
I would love
it.
Keller and O'Brien, or O'Brien and Keller.
Except
that was so cute.
We need to take the murders outside of Chesapeake Shores, so maybe the next town outside of Chesapeake Shores, they get all the murders.
Right.
That's right.
They'd be fine. They'd be so fine. They're so cute, and they had a really just a nice episode that, you know, necessary for the ending and the believability of, you know, where we hope they end up, which is on Chesapeake Shores. So they did great. So okay, Bree and Luke, you guys, Bree totally sabotaged her relationship in episode 5.
Bree O'Brien
took a while to like get back to into Luke's good graces, but the sweet thing was, and I thought of you here, Kaycee, she and Mick have lunch together at the
special Bree O'Brien Mick O'Brien bond.
Yes,
I'm telling you, there's a thing there.
They have a special bond, father and daughter. I think you were so right. And he really kind of challenged her, like, let's talk to him.
Yeah, it's true. And that was the one where she's like, here, give him this housewarming gift.
Right? The cactus, the cacti. Yeah.
He's like, why don't you give it to him?
I love
inside joke.
I loved how Treat played that, because he just had that dad smile, like,
yeah, it's
this
like,
is not gonna come off well from me.
You need to give it to him, Bree. Like, he kind of, he definitely had that major dad energy.
Well, they have such the two of them, I think, have really good dialogue. Bree and Luke. They're talking about their relationship. They're growing in their relationship. When they reconcile, they have a good conversation about trust. You know, like he can something about you at some point you do have to let go and trust me that I will be different than maybe the other guys you dated or something. And I don't know. I thought I always think they have good conversations. I like when the two of them have dialogue.
Yeah.
But what comes back into the picture? She gets a call from her agent.
I was like, oh no. I felt the dust just coming up, and like I was like, oh no, here it goes. Gonna bring up the book dust and just let it swirl everywhere and destroy everything it's
Oh my gosh. I was like, no.
Because that's exactly what we need. Actually, maybe if we saw this movie, maybe if we saw this book turned into a movie, it would answer all of our questions from seasons 1 through 4.
I mean, really? Yeah.
I've wanted to watch the book, but now maybe I'll just see the movie. I just thought that was so funny, though. They had like a really fun, kind of like a meta conversation in about giving your book rights away and what if they totally botch it. And, you know, I'm like, Cheryl Woods, anybody? Like, what does she think of this? Her Chesapeake Shores series.
That's true.
That's true. That's funny. Oh man.
But I love how Luke was like, no, he's like, Brie, like he knows. He's like, no, this is about fear. Like, you know, are you afraid to like bring it up to your family because of all the dust that it stirred up when you brought, you know, when the book was released? And she's like, yeah, because she's thinking her family's been through a lot. Like she's like, it's not really a great time to bring up this thing that like wounded my whole family when you know, my parents are trying to get back together. My dad's struggling with addiction. My brother had a miscarriage. Like my brother had a heart attack. Like these people,
my sister's husband's financial problems.
Yeah. And so she's like, it's not really the best time to like bring up all this. That's in her mind, you know, what she's thinking. Which I mean, I understand.
She's not wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, she's not wrong. They wrapped that up. They forgave her. You know, everyone kind of moved on. And now here we go again with a famous Hollywood actress wanting to buy the rights and make the movie and kind of dredge all this stuff up. So I love this ending.
I did too.
It was so good.
When Jess said, "Can Hilary Duff play me?"
I know, mind blown.
I was like, Lacey does give off Hilary Duff vibes. She so does.
She does. Okay, I know these are huge names and they could never like get these people, but wouldn't it be so funny to see a scene with all of these people playing the O'Briens? Like
that would be so funny.
So funny.
Like Harrison Ford. I was like,
okay, so mix it Harrison Ford or someone from a show that I didn't recognize, actually.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know what that was.
Shoot, I was gonna look that up before our episode, but that's okay. Okay, so mix it Harrison Ford, Hilary Duff for Jess, of course. Okay, Abby said Kristen Stewart, and I'm not sure if I see that one so much.
Yeah, I was thinking I didn't see that either.
I was like, really, Kristen Stewart?
And she was like, right? Kristen Stewart. And then we have one of the Chris's, Chris Pine or Chris
Hemsworth.
That was funny. Yeah.
It was like Brendan, I don't know, but Luke Wilson.
Oh yeah, Luke Wilson. Yeah.
Might be better. And then Dwayne Johnson with a wig on.
Yep. And because Brie didn't say anybody because she was taking all their stuff. Yeah, all their names. Or listening to all their names, not actually writing them down and taking them seriously. But
see, I would say Reese Witherspoon for Brie.
Oh yeah,
that would be good. That would be good.
Okay, I would love to know the behind the scenes of that. Like, did they all have to come up with their own, like, was that kind of an improv type of thing? Or did the writers write those?
That is a great
Ah,
question.
Yes. Thief or Mark, we want to know. That's a
I
great
know.
question. Yeah, let us tweet to us and let us know
Yeah.
how those names came about.
How did those names come about? Because that was fun. And that was a really fun way to, and playful way to show Bree that they were, you know, they were on board. They were okay with this movie rights thing. I still don't know if she did it, but they were okay with it.
Yeah. And I am glad that even though Megan wasn't in the episode, the first thing they said, what about mom? She's like, oh yeah, I called. She's fine with it. Because really the conflict all started when mom left. And so that was the big deal for the whole shenanigans with all the book. So and I'm glad that Bree, and we didn't get to see it. I would have loved to see that. I mean, I know for time's sake we can't see everything, but just knowing that Bree knew the sensitivity of the topic and going to her mom first before going to the family, going to mom, like I think that shows a lot of growth in that relationship too with the family and mom.
Yeah, there definitely is. And I like that there's been so much growth that we have seen on screen, and there's been growth that we haven't seen that has taken place off screen, but it's been enough for us to have Bree mention something. Oh yeah, I talked with mom, she's okay, and we believe it. You know, like we believe it. We're like, yes, I can understand that. So well, that is the end of episode 6, except we leave with a couple of fun little pregnancy, don't tell people I'm pregnant kind of hijinks with Kevin and Sarah and Abby. Who knew? That was
cute. My gosh.
Cute, but yeah, just kind of fun. And then
of course Kevin's gonna spill.
Oh my gosh, he cannot keep any secrets. I'm like, nobody ever tell him anything ever. Like he just, which I understand, it's his kid, like he's just bursting with excitement. So it's very special, especially with everything he's been through. It's just so special. He's so excited.
Totally.
And I'm glad that he can, you know, share that. And I want him to have that excitement and not just be full of fear and what ifs, which is why I loved what Abby said to Sarah, you know, when she said like, you know, choose joy. Like I really like that, because when you're just worrying about something, it doesn't do anything. It makes you miserable. It stresses you out. It makes you have low patience, low everything, because you're having all of this space occupying with like fear and worry. And so I love that that was just really good advice, saying like, you know, just you know, that's all you can do is choose what you know, glass half full, glass half empty, choose joy, and just you know, try to just roll with it and hope for, you know, the best.
I love the sister scene when they all went to the spa. And I loved how it worked out in Sarah's favor that Abby found out, because Abby saved Sarah from an awkward situation, you know, several times, you know, with the drink, and then, you know, the going into the sauna and all that stuff. And so I love that moment. And we never really get to see Sarah with the sisters.
Right.
It's very rare.
That's true. So it was nice, just the girls. It was nice seeing that moment with Abby and Sarah and all the girls, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty true. I think for a sisters-in-law to come in, you know, and you're part of the family, but you're not part of the family in that way. But so it's nice to see the girls kind of open their arms in their little sister circle, you know, to Sarah. That was very cool. And, you know, we have a little mystery brewing with Caitlin at the nurse's office a lot. She's a little anxious. Something's going on with her. And Jess really can step up and help her as an aunt, to be a sounding board. So I bet we're going to see more about that in episodes later.
We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies Podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies. So episode 7, let's go on to episode 7. And this one is called, It's Not For Me To Say. It's Not For Me To Say. And it's 6 months later, 6 months later. We have the ultrasound. We have the adorable mistake that Kevin makes when the nurse says, "Don't look," and he looks.
Of course he looks. I'm like, that's such a guy thing to do. Do exactly the opposite of what of what they said. I was like, oh. I mean, it is the temptation when someone says don't look, but you've agreed that you're not gonna know.
Right.
Look.
Don't look. That was so funny to me. And it was like his face, and immediately, so I think all of us thought that what Sarah said later, wait, did you see something so you knew, or you didn't see something so you knew?
Yeah. Which kind of seeing was it, or not seeing?
Oh, that cracks me up.
So, Kevin, he was just really, really precious this whole episode, I thought, and had very pointed one-on-one conversations with a few of his family members, Abby, Bree, Dad. I mean, he's so family oriented. This guy.
He really is. I loved his conversation with Mick.
Yeah, that was.
What did you love about it?
It was a great bonding moment for the two of them. It was a great, honest conversation. And then I loved how he spun it to reveal what the baby was going to be.
Yes.
And how it's a boy. I thought it was, now granted, he should have told his wife. Okay, first of all, but all that aside, right. I thought that Mick was the perfect person for him to reveal the gender to first. Yes. I mean, again, Sarah aside, because she deserves to know because she's carrying this child, but outside of everybody else from the whole family, I mean, how special is that the first grandchild is going to carry on the strong O'Brien name? I mean,
yes, exactly.
I don't know. It was so special. So I loved it.
That was, I really enjoyed that conversation too. He's been there since the very beginning of the season. He was like, do you think I'm going to be a good dad? And, maybe that was last season. They had really precious moment before she miscarried, I think. And then, to kind of share that joy with him and say it's a grandson was so cool. I loved the talk though with his sisters, and he's trying to help his sisters out, give a male perspective, give advice, and he just seems to botch it up every time in a sweet way. So good.
Oh my gosh. That was just so it was funny. It
was so funny. Well, first of all, I loved this storyline with Bree and Luke having them share a birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was cute.
Oh, cute.
That was a good idea. Yeah.
That was
go ahead.
That was fun. And then Brie O'Brien became Brie O'Brien. So
she had to just celebrate.
Brie it up. Yep. I'm like, here she goes. Okay.
And
just being Brie.
Just being Brie. But Luke seems to just kind of handle it every time because he is a straight shooter. He's gonna if he says don't get me a gift, then he means don't get me a gift. If she says it, he's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna believe her. And then Kevin puts the doubts in his head. Oh, wait, did she actually mean that or no?
Yeah.
I was so confused, but he left that. I'm like, the best thing to do is always have a backup gift no matter what. I was like, but the way this whole conversation went, it's like, who knows what you should do because it's so confusing.
Okay, when they were at Sally's, didn't you think he had a backup?
Oh yeah, I was like, Luke, you have to. You can never believe a thing a woman says ever about being fine or not getting a gift.
Fine about presents, yeah.
Yes, yeah, like don't,
yes.
Don't believe it. So I was like, please tell me he has a backup gift, please.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure at all because he's such a straight shooter. And then he had that conversation with Kevin, but he's also a straight shooter. And then he also knows Bree. So I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know if it was going to be one of those things where it would cause another like mini like communication issue thing.
Right.
Like we don't need one of those. I didn't know if it was going to be like they actually didn't get each other gifts and we're going to leave it alone. I really had no idea, but I thought the way it ended was so funny and it was so true to their just that relationship with Bree. And then she's like, oh, here's your birthday gift. Didn't want a birthday gift. Well, I got you one because I thought that maybe because I got you one because I said I didn't want one, but you're probably not going to believe me. So here we are. Oh no, you didn't get me a gift. Let me take my cacti terrarium back. She's like taking it back and shoving it in the back.
She is just the most awkward person. Oh my gosh. She's just, wow.
I think that she meant it when she said, I don't want a gift, but I think she fully expected him to not, to not listen to her. And so when she saw the bag and she's like, it's okay. It's okay. I know it's okay. You got me a gift. It's okay. I was like, oh, Bree.
I think sometimes as women, maybe tell me if I'm wrong. I think like, I don't know. There's just something in us. Like we just want to test men, test our person. We just want to. But we don't want to, but we do, but we don't, but it's really a test, but it's not, it's just really confusing. It's confusing for us too, guys. We don't even understand why. I don't know, but it's just this weird thing inside of us that we want to expect, but we don't want to expect it. It's like, it's crazy. So I understand, Bree. I get it.
Yeah, it's kind of like compliments. It's like, no, it's okay. No, we don't need the compliment. Both of them, we're at the same time, we're going,
yeah.
Come on.
I want what I do. Well, I thought he handled it really well because he did have something for her, but it still wasn't for her.
Happy birthday to Luke and not Brie cake.
Yeah, he kind of wrote this line of like, I have something for both of us, but it still shows I thought about you, but I'm bringing it out later, so you won't know until then.
Yes.
It was smart. It was smart.
So smart. Because all she wanted was to know that he cared.
Exactly.
And yes, he did. And
that is all women want, to know they're thought of, to know they're cared, to know they're loved. That's all. Like it's like people make so complicated. That's literally it. It's just we just want to know that you thought about us, that you care.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't a cake for her, but it was her favorite flavor. So I mean, it just was so
major cute. Points for that. That's very sweet.
Yes.
Very, very sweet. So she had an unbirthday. He had an unbirthday. I mean, I love that they share a birthday together. It's really, really cute.
So fun.
Okay, let's talk about Abby and Evan.
More hijinks with these two.
Okay, so it's 6 months later. They're still dating. It's 6 months later. He's obviously traveling a lot. He comes back from Iceland. She talks to him about that a little bit. And he's starting to say, I don't think I want to travel just as much anymore. want to be here. I want to be at home, and really just starting to settle into a good relationship with her, and says, I feel like I've known you forever. And she says,
I think she's testing him again. It's just something we just want to test, the waters and see what the response is. So she says, what'd she say?
Go ahead.
No, I forgot what she said.
Oh, she says, it sounds like you love me.
She said it exactly like that too.
She did, with that, kind of tone and in fluctuation on the certain words.
I mean, it felt so out of character, but it also felt very comfortable. Like she's just teasing, she's just throwing something out there. She's in her family kitchen. She loves this kitchen. She's fully herself in this kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And then but immediately regrets
Yep, she's like, oh, that just left my actual mouth, not in my head. Like, oh, here comes Dad, and he's running out of the house. Okay.
He's fleeing.
He's fleeing the scene
as fast as can be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Evan he's been that way this whole time. He's had his feelings have gone before his thought process. And so his feelings are there. He does love her, but he doesn't really know it yet. He hasn't processed it yet. Yeah. So when she puts that out there and it's between them now he has to really kind of deal and think, do I actually love her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought their conversation at the end was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was cute.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty cute. You guys, pretty cute guy.
Yeah, it's very sweet. And we end with a kiss.
Mm-hmm. And this episode made me think about Abby and Evan. Not, is he good for her? Is he a good fit for her? Does he fit with her family? But I was actually thinking, oh, is she good for him? Actually, and I think this episode, she is good for him. Like she's playful. She lets him be silly. And I don't know. She takes herself seriously, but she also kind of doesn't. Like she was playing with him. And, she's good for him.
Yeah. They oddly work in a way that they both bring out the best in each other.
Yeah.
And they bring out the best traits. So like they aren't like Abby was always I felt like in previous seasons she was always just so pent up and type A.
Yes.
Very like stressed and I don't know, business minded and stuff. And then now we have Evan, who is also kind of a complete wild card. And so we have these two, and they're going like this, they're moving towards each other.
Yeah.
Like they're, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I like to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like to see it. I think that it's progressed really well. And I like that they were looking at each other and said, look at us, just loving each other or something like that. We're in love with each other. And
that was sweet. I love
tender
that
moment, a tender family scene. Then when he comes and helps the girls with some computer stuff and the genetic testing results, and really interested in what they're doing. I mean, it was pretty cute.
Yeah, it was fun.
Pretty cute.
Yeah.
Well, who's next? Connor and Margaret are not in this episode.
No, they are not there. Before we get there though, since you brought up the DNA testing, can we talk about that really fast?
Yeah.
So Caitlin and Kari are one of the girls, they're doing their DNA test. They got their results back. And the line that made me laugh out loud is when Mick says, oh, maybe we'll find out if we're related to some leprechauns. It made me laugh so hard because in previous reviews of Chesapeake Chats, when I was reviewing season, I think it was 3, my co-hosts and I were talking about the things that were never wrapped up. And I always joke that Gran's friend that she went to visit, because it was like this whole thing. She went to Ireland to visit Dylan O'Malley. And then never heard about him again. And I always joked that he was a leprechaun. And so when this was written in there, I just felt like it was a nod to me, but we know it's not. But it made me laugh so hard when
That's funny.
Nick mentioned the leprechauns, because I've always said that Dylan O'Malley is probably a leprechaun, because Gran went to visit him and we heard nothing after that, and it was this big deal.
We really never did hear anything else about him again.
No,
Yeah.
no, they made him to be a big deal, and then she went to Ireland, and then it was like he never existed. Like, did he find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Like, what happened?
Well, they did find out they're like 97% Irish. Kari is, and so obviously Wes was Irish as well. Or no, that was the maternal side.
Maternal side, yeah.
The maternal side, 97%. So, but it definitely got Evan thinking too, like, I think I want to do that and find my ancestry. So,
yeah,
that'll be good.
And
be
that's
interesting.
More to come next week on that.
More to come. More to come. So we have Jess and David again with the, getting the loan for the winery. She's not been approved yet for a loan.
No.
And that was a little business talk. Were you okay with that, Kaycee?
I was okay with that. I was okay with that in the sense that Jess has had to learn a lot.
Yes.
In the last several years, getting a loan. She had to get it through Abby, I think, or Abby had to co-sign or whatever, season 1. So the fact that Jess is really like making the effort to learn how to do it and use her resources. And when she said, you know what, we won't use the Peck name. We'll just get the loan under the O'Brien name. Like, yeah, you do that. I also love the talk that she had with her dad. So again, I thought that was a great move because, Jess has always had a rocky relationship with her parents. And so this was a great way to just show us as the viewers that, we're healing. We're moving past things. We're in a different stage of life and stuff.
That was great.
So yeah, I was totally fine with the business talk in this.
Okay, good.
So
I think what they do so brilliantly on this show is those little vignettes of conversation, that move storyline along, but not just storyline, but relationship. Because this is a big family show. We need to see family interact one-on-one. That's just realistic. It's not all family dinners all the time. So those are really good moments. And yeah, like you said, she had a good talk with Mick.
Yeah.
And it was about, we'll get to this, I guess, but it was about Mick wanting Megan to move back into the house. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big conversation for the two of them to have.
Yeah. I mean, how many years has it been since she lived? I mean, a long, long, long time since she has lived under that roof. I mean,
very. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So long. So, I mean, yeah, that was important. Okay, so she does encourage David, though, to go visit his dad in prison. David does for him, not for his dad because his dad wants to, but he needs to tie up some, he needs to have some closure, which there was not closure. It actually stirred up more mystery.
Which again, we're here for. I'm here for. But it's interesting. That's another complicated relationship too to watch. We don't know a whole lot about the Pecks other than they're rich, they're snobby, they're all the things. We got a taste of them in previous seasons. I think season 4 or 5, something like that. And then again, or season 4, and then season 5 with the wedding, and season 6. I mean, these are very, very pretentious people. And so we always knew that David's father was not great or not happy about David getting or not taking over the business and all of that stuff, but we never really saw their relationship outside of that. So I mean, like, we can only assume that David's like he's close to his family, but at a far distance.
Yeah.
Like he loves his family, but sometimes the best place to be is, you know, a few miles away, like a couple hundred. So I really liked this plot point about how even though his dad was maybe not the best person growing up, maybe he was too into himself, that he really truly did love his child, like his two children. And when he started talking about the safe and he started talking about, here's the code, it's to your the license plate to the radio flyer the green one that you rode, the little bike, that was like a light bulb moment for me. I'm like, okay, this man truly, I mean, he loves his family, like, you know. And so it was so interesting to see, and then to watch Carlo play David in that moment and just see it was like fear, and then also it's almost like relief, like, okay, my dad, okay, he does love me, but he's also in prison and he's committed a federal crime, but now he's saying he's framed, but he also remembers this detail that I don't even remember.
I know, you had to look it up on a picture.
What? So yeah, it's interesting. I wish we had more seasons to explore that. You know, that's the one unfortunate thing about it, is I kind of wish we had more time to explore David and his father's relationship, or his family's relationship, really.
Right. And because it has to clip along at a good pace. We didn't even get to see any sort of like going to find the secret apartment and finding the safe and cracking the code. And we didn't see that part. We just saw that he did have the flash drive. He was looking at his computer and he's like, a new weight of the world is on him, because he's like, my dad might be telling the truth. He might have been framed, and I might have the evidence right here. So I'm excited to see where that goes, because that maybe is more legal stuff happening in the courtroom.
I know. And it just dawned on me that there was that 6-month jump. And so in episode 6 is when his dad calls, right? And then 6 months later, he's in prison. And so the fact that when David got the phone call and he's like, nope, not talking to him, it's like, okay, he's been in jail for 6 months. Like, that's half a year.
That's right. That's true.
You know, so much time has passed, and, you know, so that's another whole complication, because like sometimes that kind of time does not heal wounds. It just makes them deeper, you know? So,
well, it'll be cool to see where they take this. The framing, he doesn't even know who framed him, and might be Mrs. Peck. No, I'm kidding. It's not Mrs. Peck.
Who knows? Could be.
But he did say one specific name. He said this name, Byron Steiger or something like that. And I mean,
he was the CFO.
That was the one name we got in this whole business world of Mr. Peck's. Maybe that's a trusted friend who betrayed him. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what lawyers they're going to use.
I don't know, Kaycee. What lawyers do you think?
I think they're going to use those crooked lawyers from DLP.
Oh, no.
I'm just kidding.
No, it'll be so fun. It'll be so fun to see.
It will be.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. Okay, last thing that we need to talk about with this episode that I have on my mind. You guys can definitely bring up more other things, but is it time for Megan to move back home? What do you think?
I don't know.
You think Mick was rushing that a little bit?
I think maybe. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I think maybe he was rushing it a little bit. I mean, you know, this is the last season, so we don't really have that much time. So I understand. But I think maybe he was rushing it a little bit. it's just this family has been through so much, and she hasn't lived there in so long because of everything that's happened. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a really big deal for her to move back under the same roof.
Yeah.
And so I feel like maybe it's a little bit rushed,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. She's been there for 5 years, so I think that's one thing to consider. There's also been a 6-month jump. That's also another thing to consider. And they are seasoned in their life, and so time is of the essence, my friends. So I think putting all those things together, I think maybe I think they've made some really good strides. Again, I think that if this were not the final season, I would say maybe we can extend that a little bit more, but considering that this is the final season, we need to start seeing more of the mom and dad romance and the falling in love, like more of that. Not that we're not getting it. But it was just that they were so angsty for 4 years up until about season 5 that we're kind of like on the edge. It's almost scary for us, because we're like, okay, that angst was different. That angst was like serious anger issues between the two of them. It wasn't the cute little push and pull personality differences. It was like legit therapy that these two people needed to work through. I think we got that in season 5, and then we're moving towards that in season 6. We've had romantic moments with mom and dad, like that dinner, different things. But yeah, it will be interesting to see. Mick obviously has a lot to learn still about women. Like, when he asked her to move in, and she was
just wants to
practical. Like,
she just, like Bree, she just wants to hear that she's wanted and thought of, and like, I want you to move in because I want you to move in, because
I want you to be close. I want you to be, like with me under this roof, like a team, like my partner. Like, make it sweet. Not just like,
all the other things, except
it'll be so convenient.
She is so good. I think she's so amazing at sticking to her guns. And she's like, nope. Okay, no. I'm not gonna do that at this time, and I gotta think about it or whatever. Like, she wasn't hearing what she wanted to hear, and she was sticking to her guns.
She was making him grovel a little bit.
She was like, okay, Mick O'Brien, if you think that's how you ask a woman to move in with you, then you got some learning to do, because then at least he what do you call it, bounced it off of another woman, or I guess his daughter, but she's a woman, and kind of was like talking through, like, oh yeah, like this was not that, that's not how you somebody, that's not gonna make them feel like you actually want them there,
right?
And you know what, she is, I don't know if she's home now. It's 6 months later. I guess I didn't really do the math. Is she still going back and forth? But she did put her suitcases in her room. So it almost seems like even in the house, she'll have her own space, her own room, I think. But this was...
No, I think that was his room, because didn't she say, I left my coat in your room?
Oh, it was his? Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Oh, it was his. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she moved in. There she go. There you go. Well, he tried a little extra romance, and he built a pergola for her, had these beautiful Adirondacks chairs out there that said Mick and Megan with the heart. Like, that was really
that
cute.
was sweet. That was thought about. That was care. Yeah. That was a romantic gesture. That is how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would die. That was very sweet. And it shows like he listens, because he remembers this from whatever 20 years ago, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember, like she always wanted this.
Yes.
It's like, this is gonna be her home. Like, let me show her, like, I want this to be her home.
Right.
Like, I want this to be where we can be together at the end of the day, or in the morning, or in the afternoon, or whatever.
So good.
That was very sweet.
Yeah.
That was so cute.
And engraving her name, I mean, makes it permanent.
Yeah.
It's like a symbol of that, like, this is your home now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so that was a really hopeful ending, sitting in the chairs, seeing the hearts, Mick and Megan holding hands. I was like, okay, this is what we want from Mom and Dad. No, we want this.
No more angst for Mom and Dad.
Yeah, please don't give us any more angst. Like, we can't. I can't.
I know. Everybody. So good episodes. Like, they're handling things we want them to handle. They're crossing bridges we need them to cross in order for this to be the last season. And I mean, there's 3 more episodes.
I can't believe it.
I can't either.
I can't believe it.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
So I almost don't even want to predict where things are going to go. I just want to see it unfold, watch what happens. But anyway, anything else to say about these last 2 episodes, you guys? Highs, lows?
These were such fun. These were really good episodes. I think it took the weight off of the previous episodes with the addiction storyline and Connor's storyline with his heart attack and just all of those different things. And so it was nice. It was nice levity these last couple of weeks. I mean, we do have some more heavy things with Mr. Peck and all of that, but I think the writing they've done a really good job balancing the heavy and the lights. So it's not like all heavy, because we could have easily just tried to tackle the Pecks and the heart attack and the addiction and the all the things up front instead of sprinkling it throughout. And so I thought that was a really great way to tell the stories of the O'Briens. And then it really did hit me that last 3 episodes. I was like, we're already there. Like, we're already like over the hump of the halfway point.
We really are.
It's crazy. I know. I was thinking when I finished the episode, I was like, wow, only 3 more, like, ever. Like, that's crazy. They should really do a movie where Brie gets her book made, and when they're like, after they cast the movie and then like they're making the movie, they should do a movie like that. I just think that would be funny. I don't know. I just think it'd be funny.
Yeah.
I do too. I think it would be awesome. Yes, no, these are great episodes. These are things that we wanted to see. We wanted to see Kevin and Sarah pregnant. We wanted to see Luke and Brie progress in kind of a cool relationship. Same with Connor and Margaret, and same with Abby and Evan. I mean, everyone's really just progressing along, and just really hopeful, very, very hopeful for the last couple of episodes. But hey, guys, this was so fun. We will see you again, Chessies, in 2 weeks when we recap episodes 8 and 9, and then just a week later after that, probably for the final episode 10. So definitely want to know what you guys thought of these 2 episodes. We would love to connect with you guys on YouTube or iTunes. So leave a review, leave a comment, and definitely a thumbs up, and follow the Hallmarkies podcast channel so that you can see everything we do here on Chesapeake Chats. We have some fun bonus stuff coming up and planned like we did last season. And really just excited to be on this journey with you guys. Kaycee, where can people find you if they want to get in touch?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kaycee__Simpson. And like Kari said, we do bonus things. We may have something for you next week. No promises, because hasn't been recorded yet, but fingers crossed everything goes well, and you may hear from someone special who is not one of us, but is on the show.
Yes.
Maybe you will. Hey. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at awscott21.
All right, and come to Instagram, find me at Hallmark Comics, and then also at the Hallmarkies podcast Instagram. You can find all of us there as well. Thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, Chessies.
Bye, Chessies.
Bye.